right, here we are with I Was a Teenage Exocolonist, a Chuubo's Marvelous Wish-Granting Engine Fable. Season 1, Episode 9. I am Devin, the host. We are in September 2025. And with me today we have...
Hey there, as Digigrade, aka Digi.
Stephanie as Taxonomy, aka Tax.
And Natalie as Trigonometry, aka Trig.
Outstanding. So, team, what did you do last session?
We did Vertumnalia, and a lot of people got covered in piss.
It's not our fault.
Trigonometry perfected the volcano baking soda experiment.
Yeah, you really Homer Simpson to that in the Grimes episode.
I think it actually did Bart's checking that can of Coke or whatever.
That's true. There's that episode where Frank Grimes shows up and he tricks Homer to join a child's nuclear energy build a model pageant. And Homer enters and he's like, Homer Simpson next to like Martin. And Frank Grimes is like, look, Homer Simpson joined a child's contest. Isn't it humiliating? And one of his buddies, Carl, is like, yeah, and he's beating the snot out of those little idiots. And Grimes loses his mind. Mr. Burns looks at Homer when Homer wheels up with his model and goes, and what did you make, young man? You did that. Except the only one who was really upset was Soul, and that was because they got up early for this. And they didn't really get that upset. They have the calm mind augment. A lot of them getting upset is performative.
Well, she's still a child.
Yeah. Yeah, she is. Petulant child.
Spend the time on this.
So, yeah. So, mid-dust kind of... Dust or dry? It's dust. It's called dust, right? They called it dust.
Yeah.
Mid-dust sort of comes and goes. Dust is when the harvests happen, when that was what Vertumnalia was all about, the kind of first initial harvests came in. They're still doing work around geoponics and the other orbital satellite gardens they did around the colony in the near area where they got their operations going. A lot of lumber operations, like cutting down mush trees because they are dried out and nice solid timber at this point. Yeah, we're kind of rolling into the end of mid-dust to the beginning of late dust. The majorest heat waves have stopped. And you guys got to all experience what a heat wave was. Not great.
No. 0 out of 10. Do not want.
Yeah, nobody liked that, except I guess Cal, because Cal can't feel weather. Cal's like, I don't know what you're all worked up about. I'm going to take my shirt off.
I wear the same clothes all year round.
Right? Oh, yeah, he doesn't sweat. Weird. Or does he sweat?
I think he's just immune to cold and hot heat stuff. So yeah,
he must sweat.
He doesn't care.
I don't know. We'll have to ask the creators. Anyway,
very pertinent for a game. Does this little boy sweat?
Oh God! Now we're not allowed to be on. Now we're not allowed to be on Apple Tunes anymore. Now we got kicked off Itch.io. So, what are your plans for this chapter of your lives?
Well, I heard we were threatened by talking to the adult leadership about our project and our defiance to them.
Yeah, I believe they wanted to follow up with us afterwards.
Makes sense. So, do we want to take the lead on that then?
Sounds good.
All right. You're not being dragged into the governor's hall or whatever, the bridge of the ship where they talk and stuff. That's just not going to happen. I think you're just in the lounge hanging out with Antecedent, Tonin, the other soft people, maybe Hal. The super soft adults.
Oh yeah, in between the sessions we finish up our group quest, so we no longer get XP from hanging out in the canteen.
That's right. You don't need it anymore.
We are both recognized and a functional team.
Exactly.
Yes.
So let me see. Super soft adults. Antecedent, Udicott. I know Udicott's a serious person, but like they're a grandma.
Tonin?
Hal, Tonin, Geranium's here. So they're just here to like meet and talk with you guys. Seek is here, obviously they're here, clearly. But like not to be friends with you, just to make it very clear that they're Udicott's assistant.
Ah,
And yeah, they just kind of want you to go over what your plan is, the work you did on that bush slug, all that stuff. They're kind of just getting a feel for how you've operated. I guess Com and Corgan Zet are here as well too, because this is sort of affecting your entire team, and they find it hard to believe that those three weren't at least tangentially affected by this.
Somehow involved.
Like,
they were covering up.
maybe. Who knows? You can't trust anything Korg and Zet say.
Yeah.
Com seems too simple to trick. He's like, hey.
He's very trusting. He believes in the best of everybody.
Yeah, he does.
So, yeah. So our project was making the blepgrass tea, making it sustainable, making it something that we can cultivate all year round, even if blepgrass doesn't grow all year round, because we haven't still ruled that out. And yeah, we wanted to use that for the colony to help everybody, because hey, everybody needs energy these days. There's a lot of work to do, way more than there are people. And yeah, I want to use that as a way to prove that we can, handle bigger projects than just going harvesting mushroom logs and stuff like that.
Okay, looking at your stats, who's trying to be an exobiologist?
Yeah.
That's Steph?
That's me.
All right, so without getting into the role play just yet, it sort of sounds like the logical thing to happen, since Steph has biology and animals and wants to be an exobiologist, is you're sort of groomed into using the like exobiology lab, like the gene splicer they have in the geoponics lab. You know what I mean? That thing that's in there. It's a job you can get with high enough animals or biology.
Right.
I don't remember the name of it. Pete might. The thing. So
I do not remember.
You don't remember. Okay. So yeah, the idea would be to just like kind of get you sort of trained on that equipment, because that's clearly the optimal way to start this entire idea. Sorry, I got pulled aside here. But yeah, like the idea basically would be to just like get you into the gene lab, get you started working on that stuff, get you more familiar with the equipment and like, safety procedures and whatnot. Oh yeah, analyzing plants, which you can start at 13. Oh yeah, it's in the greenhouse. It's the what kind of lab is it? It's a research lab of some kind. A plant like alien life analysis lab.
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, Steph, they'll sort of move you into geoponics laboratory. So you're sort of, before we get into the role play, is your character will sort of be started to be moved into that as your job.
Okay.
Like you can still do expedition work because that's like a part-time job kind of thing. You have a lot of jobs. You're all colonists here.
Yeah.
But they're going to groom you into being a geoponics like scientist, a xenobiologist, if you will.
Exactly.
So, yeah, you already work with the animals. You already work with biology. You guys have all kind of put this plan together. I know that trigonometry is the organizer and the planner, and Digitrade is the engineer. So, yeah, it sort of looks like the three of you are handling different parts of this, and they're just trying to formalize what that is. So, yeah, all right. They're not going to just hand you a project called the bleptea project, but they're going to, like, put you guys in places where you would have the nominal authority to continue this as, like, a, what's a good word for this, Pete? Like a thing that academics do to, like, prove that they're big boys. A thesis.
Yeah.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, you guys have
thesis project, I guess.
Yeah, you guys have kind of volunteered yourselves into this as a thesis project for, like, your various professions.
Okay.
Yeah, because like the idea was that now that we've presented it, and if they find this to be useful for the colony, we can scale this up. Just we need more resources from them because, you know, the fabricator stuff needs to be done for, like, I don't know, the brewing thing on the larger scale and stuff like that. And
All right.
yeah,
Let's dive into
knows?
Exactly. Let's dive into the conversation then. So, Geranium is going over the papers, over the work, and just kind of, you know, they finished talking about the different kind of places you'd be placed, and it's like, yeah, if you guys can show repeatable, consistent results on this xenobotany project we're putting together here to cultivate this new crop essentially that you've developed, if you can prove that it's viable, if we can get it off of the bristle slugs and into, because we need bristle slugs for meat, and we need them for producing, like, food and all sorts of things. So we're not going to do anything with the one we already have, but it's not sustainable. They take up too much space for something that grows on the grass. We need to assign some sort of geoponics bay for it if it's viable. Then we can justify partitioning those resources off. So really, your job is to push past proof of concept. And not Uticott, who would be there? Not antecedent. I'm getting all my actors mixed up.
Tony, Geranium, Seek.
Yeah, Hal. Hal will kind of take this over because he's the science guy here. He's like, yeah. If you can move past proof of concept to viability, we'd be able to document it, test it, do research on it, make sure it's safe, and then we could fold that into an official colony-sanctioned resource that you would all be nominally working on or in charge of until such a time as you grow into other positions, or it just sort of takes care of itself. But if you're taking this over, you're going to have to be working on this. Like, this has to be yours. You've already made the case that you broke a lot of rules to get here. It would look very bad if you dropped it because you had a sort of change of whim, you know? You guys kind of get what I'm saying here?
Yep.
Yeah, that we're the ones responsible for it now if it goes forward.
Yeah, so this will be kind of a test if you guys can stick with this. And I have pretty high hopes on this. This seems like very good work you've done so far, given the circumstances and resources given to you. My colleague, Instance, had similar comments on parts of the levels of the research done, and that's very promising from her. I would be willing to help Tutor sign off on this. Instance doesn't have a lot of time. I don't have as much time either, but I can make time. That's why I'm part of the teaching track, obviously. So we can fold this into your education track is what we're trying to say, I think. Right? Everyone kind of nods.
Ah, excellent.
Yeah, antecedent brings up that, like, they're trying to backwards. You kind of get the sense they're trying to backwards justify not punishing you, but, like, not in a way that they're trying to weasel out of it. In a way where they're like, okay, look, these guys did really, really, really go out of bounds on this, but maybe
we were already punished for this.
Maybe it's okay. Maybe it doesn't undermine the tenuous, fragile existence they have here. Maybe they can be okay with it. It's kind of what's going on here.
Right.
Our punishment is to see this project through.
Yeah.
You
know, they don't want to, like, this is an inventive spirit you've shown. They don't want to squash it. So Tonin. So we'd also be looking into seeing you all continue your expeditions work with the junior team we've put together.
Well, given that the bleptea doesn't seem to require much cultivation, and the brewer process hopefully will be automated, then yes, we shouldn't have to spend too much time overseeing it on a daily basis. So we should be able to do the expeditions in between making batches.
Yeah, this isn't going to take up full time. None of these things take up full time work, but we're looking to. I want to see you all still doing expedition work, simply because we want to not set the precedent that you can do one thing and move on. Like, just because you've done this project doesn't mean that you can be. The Earth term was one hit wonder.
No, I think it's perfect. If we can get out there in the field, though, it gives us an opportunity to collect more samples. And now that we have access to some equipment, we can actually start figuring out what the compounds in them are, and maybe we can start isolating and selecting for greater yields of those.
Yeah.
Plus, we have been trained as an exploration team, and we've just started coming together. So it would be.
Yeah. They're more saying it in the sense of they don't want to break you guys up. They don't want you guys to move on from it. They want you to kind of like they're guiding. You guys have made such a strong case that they're kind of shaping your education track now based on the case you've made, and they're kind of like not gloves off, but being like, okay, guys, you made a case for this, so this is how you are going to live now. These are the decisions you just made.
Yay, adult decisions.
Yeah, like these have repercussions. You know, they are placing expectations on you now to deliver results and to stick with it and to not be flighty.
Yeah.
Which they remember from Earth. Some of them.
Yes.
Uticott.
Yes. We can make sure that we spend our time testing and isolating various stimulants for distribution to the colony.
So get it, like all the toads.
All right. Well, as long as you guys understand the scope of what's going on here, they'll. I don't know. Do you guys have questions for them? Do you guys have like things you want to say, want to ask, want to clarify, want to like like you guys are? They're talking to you.
I think they just asked us to become xenopharmacologists.
Yeah, they use the word
Basically.
pharmacopoeia. Like you guys have made a project to expand the pharmacopoeia they have on board. So yeah, that's why this is kind of a big deal.
Yes, we will become. What was the Earth term for it? Drug lords.
That's the kind of thing they were hoping you wouldn't say in the meeting. They were.
We'll be the dealers, yes.
They wanted to avoid that. They wanted you to take this seriously.
Oh no! Trigonometry says that with complete seriousness. Somebody in charge of distributing drugs.
That's just a pharmacist. Or as they call them, a doctor.
I thought doctors treated patients and pharmacists dosed people.
A mixologist. Mixologist?
You guys aren't being doctors. You guys are being researchers at best. Botanists also.
Adjuncts.
Yeah. If you guys grow up to be doctors, hey, that'd be cool. They could use a doctor and a therapist. After poor old Beth.
Go talk with Confluence. She'll listen.
So, do you want to talk to these people at all about like anything meaningful? Like you got the adults' ears right now.
I guess the other stuff that was coming up was Tonin's change of jobs.
That's not a conversation they're having right now with you.
Yeah. So no, I think like other than like the basic stuff like allocate the resources and stuff like that, so we can start producing this. I mean, I think they've covered that. So I think that's everything we needed from them.
Tonin kind of shifts. So we need to talk about chain of command now.
Mm-hmm.
You have
Okay.
to report the things you do and not do things behind our back anymore. We're trusting you that going forward, you're not going to do all of this again without telling one of us. So your team leader is Kombucha. Tell him what you're doing. He'll tell me, and I'll report what's relevant to the council. And we're going to follow a chain of command, and we're all going to wait for the wheels of command to spin and not just jump ahead, right?
Yes.
Right, guys?
Right. DG says, crossing the fingers on his toes.
Because this was we are really extending a good faith here, guys.
Of course.
Okay. Well, I trust you. We're gonna make Common Expeditions leader like a surveyor team lead, and you guys are gonna be formed under him as an actual team. So we're thinking by the time we come to next quiet, we're surveying is starting to spool down now that wet season's going to be starting soon, especially for the areas that would be a little more treacherous to explore and the areas that aren't close enough to send you all out on yet. So we're going to be giving you wet and glow season to do the nearby expedition work and continue with your pharmacology work. But next year, we're going to start looking into transitioning you all into more formal surveying team roles. So from now to then, we really hope to see you all following the rules.
Okay. Rules followed.
All right.
Heck yeah. We'll get to graduate further.
All right. Well, then they eventually, they kind of dismiss you guys and let you go.
We're us, team. We did it.
Yeah, Korgzet and Com are walking
Hey.
with you. Com's like, well, that went well, right, guys?
Yeah.
No, we're perfectly set up.
Yeah. Hey, look at that. You all found your career tracks.
That's being a mixologist.
Something like that. Yeah, next year I think I'm going to start taking a look at the guard duty that Rhett's running. Learning colony defense and all that stuff. That seems like that's a valuable skill to pick up.
I'm
They
sure
let
that
us
would
shoot
be
guns.
useful.
I don't think they've given anyone guns yet. They give us shock gloves. Have you ever seen a shock glove? They're mostly in storage on the trip. They smart like the dickens if you get shocked by one.
Well, it's right there in the name.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was so fun playing shock glove tag back in the day with dumb teenagers.
Breaking one out of storage. I'm gonna taser you.
As you do. Pack, you're down.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was the meeting. It went pretty smoothly.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we lined everything up so that now it was just a formality of them rubber stamping what we want to do, kind of.
Got away with everything.
Huzzah! Just minimal punishment of spending, 3 months out of expeditions?
Like, you could still go on expeditions. They're just not going to let you do any of they're not going to let you do any, like, big stuff until, like...
No, I meant that in the past, we got punished for going off course, and that was about 3 months of expedition, so minimal punishment. Woo!
Hurrah! So, what are y'all doing now? You guys kind of got to drive this and do XP actions.
I think Trig is Trig is starting to go down the rabbit hole of figuring out how to optimize this, because if the entire point of drinking bleptea is not for the flavor, because everybody makes that face, then it's for the stimulant effect. So there's obviously ways to go through and selectively breed better tasting plants, but what if you skipped that bit altogether? What if you figured out which compound was in there? And what if we figured out what things on this planet have that compound and how to extract it out of them?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that's definitely a path you can take.
I'm listening.
And then we probably need to figure out some sort of refining process, some sort of way to distribute it. Maybe some sort of like powder or pill, or I don't know.
Stims.
Just bypass that whole eating and drinking altogether.
Well, they made the mandate clear. We are to continue on as we were.
Yeah.
Go further. That anyone has ever licked a toad before.
What's a toad?
They're these tiny little green people on Earth.
Well, if you're going down that route, that sounds almost like a discovery action where you've explored something you haven't never been, or tried something you've never done, like drugs.
Oh, and I mean, it's perfect because we have the perfect control group. We have Korg, which is immune to everything, and we have Calm, which is calm.
High on life, yes. Like a happy golden retriever. Okay, how would you like to do this?
Yeah, like, what are you doing, guys?
Well, we got access to the lab, right?
Yeah.
So I think like the at least what Trig would be doing at this point is all right. How do you start sampling the most amount of stuff the quickest?
How?
Well, that becomes a difficult question where somebody might need to rail Trig in, because Trig is going to start thinking, okay, if I can just get a 6-axis robotic arm in front of the gene sequencer, and I can put a tub in front of the arm, and it can just grab stuff and put it in there. Now, if I grab one of the cleaning robots and I repurpose it to grab stuff from the field and put it in the tub, now we can start collecting stuff. Yeah, no, somebody needs to reel this girl in, or she is not going to stop.
I mean, are you just trying to set up an automated assembly line to get into the processor?
What I'm saying is Trig might have been playing a lot of Satisfactory.
But like some of the tech you're talking about isn't that advanced though. Like you're talking about a 6-axis robot arm, that's just carbon.
Yeah.
That's like easily printable at their matter fabricator, as far as I understand it. The robots are complex, but that's just because the robots have a lot more complex parts and programming and like components in them, right? But like, I don't know, if you just have like an assembly line going into the sequencer, that would work. Problem is though, the gene lab's not your entire domain. Like geranium works in there doing work.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, robots also, I mean, they're in the background of so many pictures, so there probably are some around, but...
There are some around, and they're all working. All of them are force multipliers for geoponics and other jobs right now. Like they're everywhere, but like maxed out. One of them breaking is kind of a big deal, actually, to the point where like Hal, one of his main jobs is making sure the robots are online.
Yes. Okay. So what we want to, what Trigonometry wants to get out of this is some automated process to try refining this bleptea more, or
yes, the bleptea is sampling a lot of plant life form because there's already a database and stuff they sampled. They've been sampling since they got here, so like there's already like a database built for that.
It's probably going through and sampling the bleptea to try and isolate which compound in the bleptea is actually the stimulant, and seeing which one does nothing to Korg and does something noticeable to calm.
So some kind of distillery to distill or like separate things into like more isolated compounds, right?
Yeah. To refine it some more.
Okay.
All right.
That's maybe
So you guys
sounds like
should,
something under
you guys should be,
engineering.
exactly right.
Yeah.
You guys should be sitting down and talking about this, like role playing XP actions.
Okay. I mean, if we, yeah, I guess it would be just explain that to us as we're like trying to figure out how to get started on this process, right?
Yeah. So the bleptea, we can absolutely go through and try and selectively breed it, but we don't. Do we actually know what it is in the bleptea that is the actual stimulant, or have we just made it taste better?
I bring up my data pad. Nope, it's this stuff right here. This chemical called caffeine.
All right. I wonder if there's any way to like refine the caffeine out of it so that we can extract the caffeine and leave the blep behind.
Not too hard. I mean, you could just steam concentrate the bleptea, and it's water soluble, so you just steam concentrate it and then dissolve the caffeine in water to separate it out, and you can get a pretty pure version. Not too hard.
Yeah, I mean, we have some stuff like science manuals from Earth, maybe about how things were done similar on Earth, about how people were like refining caffeine or stuff like that.
I mean, yeah, this is basic science you guys are talking about. Like the geoponics lab is built for this. You don't have to reinvent calcinators and alembics from an alchemy lab like you're in Morrowind. It's very basic stuff you're talking about.
I think the angle that Trig is more aiming at is isolating the compound to the point that we can start synthesizing it. Like, yes, we can absolutely concentrate bleptea. That's not the difficult bit. The difficult bit is, getting 5 pounds of caffeine out of 8 pounds worth of ingredients.
Well, what if we did some gene splicing on the bleptea so it produces more of this compound? We have to figure out which part of the plant does that and so on.
Yeah.
Calm raises his hand in the background.
Yeah.
What about the slug? Like the slug. What if we feed it a lot of blep grass? Not the grass it grows, grass we find out in the field, like a lot of it, like bundles of it. Would that something a science?
A very caffeinated slug.
I actually have no idea what effect that would have on the slug.
Let's find out. Should we get a second slug?
To feed to the first one? Gosh, no.
I mean, are we attached to the slug we already have? Have you given the slug a name? I don't remember
Jeremy?
anymore.
Yeah, we named Jeremy. You were there.
We're not feeding another slug to the first slug. No.
But like,
it's more like if we overdose this one on the caffeine, then maybe.
Nope. I'm shooting that idea down. No, thank you.
See, that's why we need a second slug that we haven't got attached to make that one.
Shooting that idea down too, and all further ideas involving dissecting slugs. No, thank you.
What are you guys going to do about the hallucination effect? Calm asks.
What?
Hallucination?
Have you guys not been... He's looking at his cup of bleptea. Have you guys not been getting hallucinations on it?
No,
just the shakes.
more alert and think faster and not be hungry.
Really? Because, like, everyone I talk to says it gives you kind of like a high.
Yes, but not hallucinations. Are you sure you're not allergic to it a little bit?
All right. So you guys don't see anything weird when you're drinking this? Like, nothing out of the ordinary?
What do you
I look
see?
around.
I don't know. Colors are more bright and stuff. Your mind wanders.
It gets you high?
Yeah, it's... You guys didn't notice that? The adults love it.
All right, let's isolate for that.
Yeah.
By the way, I looked up the geoponics plant analyzing job for blepgrass, which you can do at age 15. And yeah, this thing's a hallucinogen.
Oh, that's
nice. I thought it was just like tea.
No.
Caffeine.
You can make a more hallucinogenic strain, and you give it to Cal, and Cal spends hours talking to the plants and like being extremely high. Then you can make a new batch and give it to Tangent alternatively, and it just causes her to have heart palpitations and acts like Speed. Like she works like 3 days straight on stuff.
Oh, Trig absolutely needs to separate these two things.
Sounds like somebody's throwing attention at this.
Oh, Calm brings it up.
So it looks like you can make it a relaxant or a stimulant. That's really interesting.
I mean, it doesn't let you relax; it gives you hallucinations. You still have quite a lot of energy when you're taking bleptea, even with the hallucinations. Like it makes your heart rate go up.
Ah, okay.
So we have both a hallucinogenic and a stimulant. Interesting. We should isolate those two.
Here, I'm going to read you what Tangent says at age 15 when you give her the bleptea 2.0, as you call it. I got an extraordinary amount of work done, she says, blinking rapidly, but I feel, do you know, the voice? Like my own internal voice feels much stronger, like as if it were another person entirely, sitting here beside me. She tilts her head to the side. Yes, I know, she says to thin air. I will tell them about the tremors, thank you. Her eyes refocus as she looks at you again. I am also experiencing a higher than acceptable amount of muscle spasms. I suggest cross-breeding the blepgrass with something that will act as an anticonvulsant. I will now read you the Cal description of taking bleptea 2.0, the other version you might make. Cal blinks at you lazily. Huh? Oh, hey, soul, he says, as if just noticing you're still there. He's been in deep philosophical conversation with a bobber plant for the last few hours, delighted when it bobs up and down like it's agreeing with him. This high is really pleasant, he says, surfing his hand through the slight breeze. Don't think I like the, my heart feels funny, like it's beating too fast. Then like it just stops, and like I'm worried it won't start again, and then it goes thump really hard, and then it starts up again, you know?
Ay.
So I'm just saying, bleptea is a spectrum. So, you know, I think Calm, when he's talking about the hallucinogen effect, you guys are saying you're not. I want to imagine that you guys imagine him always having a sports ball with him. Like you just haven't noticed that you've been hallucinating that all the time.
What if it was a new season? Everything was so intense. I mean, that's so intense and bright, and you know,
and
the sky is so
you
clear.
out, dehydrates you, makes the hallucination effect more pronounced. Also, if you wanted to ask someone about bleptea, Soul seemed to know a lot of it, considering they're the ones who started brewing it first.
Okay, what do we want out of this scene, guys? Where do we start? Are we starting to refine it into something? Do we want it more doing highs, do more stimulants, making some sort of machine for this? What are we doing?
I think it's we isolate the two things, whatever is the stimulant that makes tangent like work for 3 days straight, and we absolutely do that as the thing that we are going to put forward as our here's the thing we did. We should absolutely also figure out how to make the hallucinogen one, just so that we can have something to show off or sell later.
I'm going to
Yeah.
now read to
So-
you what happens if you make bleptea stronger and test it on yourself. Would you like to hear that?
I would
Yes.
love to
Yes.
hear that.
A few hours later, you notice that you feel more open to the creative vibrations of the universe. Like anything you imagine can become real. You just have to get the right resonant frequency of the molecules. That's the trick. You scribble out some notes. A few hours after that, you take a look at your notes. Well, luckily no one else needs to see those. Creativity goes up by 2. The taste is
Yeah.
never improved.
So what I would propose is maybe some sort of organization stuff where we're doing some processing it in batches and then trying to figure out which of the batches are doing well, but then something else like a big test study. Would they like to, I don't know, have some sort of intentions with that, Trig? Would that work for
Yeah,
them?
let's throw a whole four intention through organization of that one.
Give you a +1 tool bonus from having the lab equipment.
Yes.
Sounds like an 8, unless there's some obstacles.
Yeah, sounds like an 8. So that'll carry through for the rest of the session. And that's just going to be on the background, taking up 1/2 of your actions for the session.
Nifty.
All right, guys. Did you tag any of this as XP actions?
Um,
Yeah.
That was
I mean,
definitely a
this was
shared action.
Yeah.
Uh,
Collective moving towards our goals. Well, let me look up the actions again.
I
Where
would
are
tag
they?
this slash the talk through that also was a shared reaction where we talk through stuff out that's important to us, I guess.
I think shared reaction fits, because shared action would be
Yeah.
you all kind of like working together on one thing. This was you all not arguing, but animately debating.
Yeah.
Or it could be science, faith, and sorcery.
We're not there yet. You're not there yet.
I don't know. Is this foreshadowing now that we have potent visions of what this might do to the colony?
Oh, I mean,
Wicked action.
What an interesting thing to bring up, Natalie.
I
Foreshadowing.
will be a colony of hippies.
You're paying a lot of attention to something. Logically, looking at it from the outside, you must be foreshadowing. Do you want to get caught up into it? Oh, what an interesting, All right, let me look at XP actions for foreshadowing in bulk, like the build out for it. Where is foreshadowing?
That goes to the mystery.
Immersive fantasy. Here we are. You notice that you're paying a lot of attention to something. The action. Get caught up into it. In general, foreshadowing works best if after you've been caught up in something for a while, it gets to you and you react. You emote. You do something big, you're like, oh, but that story, I've seen that sword, or how dare they, I emote berserk. As an optional rule, the HG notices you emoting or reacting at least a little while after you announce the action, then you can add a second group XP to the action's reward. We can skip that for now. Yeah, all right, this seems like foreshadowing, right? Like you're clearly foreshadowing getting real sloppy with the bleptea production.
Really creative.
Yeah, all right. Let's say shared reaction to talking with the adults and foreshadowing for this stuff here.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to give you guys all that together, cumulatively.
I would also do the head desk for Trig's going, okay, let's this hallucinogenic stuff and so on. Like, okay. Get your XP emotion.
Head desk it is.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
What about any others, like OU or anything? I guess not.
Not as much.
All right, well, let's start wrapping up this this chapter by going over your quests real quick. So, Pete, anything for I'm exploring the planet. This is interesting for work and study.
Well, I haven't been exploring the planet, so cannot really do that.
Okay.
But I guess I've been recording stuff in the diary based on our, the thing we've been doing. Like, apparently hallucinogenic stuff.
Perfect. Steph, you didn't take it over the top, did you? With
Not really.
Wishes of
no.
Vertumna, no. But for Let's Doing,
I didn't really do much of anything. Nope.
Did you talk with somebody about the dreams for your future?
I guess I could count the talking with the adults about plans for the future.
You wanted to be a xenobiologist. Now you're on the track for it.
Yeah. Okay.
We could sort of fold Common as the ally, considering that he's now officially your boss and presumably dependent on his approval for you moving forward.
True.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll fold Common to that into MG1. Because that sort of was just revealed to you, that now he matters more literally than before. All right. Natalie, your work and study, did we ever figure out what it was?
What do you mean by work?
I mean, your generic quest for paradigmatic.
Oh,
Or should we circle back to that?
Yeah, let's circle back to that because I'm losing the actual spreadsheet here.
Stale life.
Stale life, yeah.
I don't know if any of the major goals came up, but what about the quest flavors?
So quest flavor, like, I definitely did stacking crates in the sense of, like, oh no, we haven't gotten to that one. Never mind.
No, the farm, yeah. We were talking about harvesting and stuff. That is something that came up in the background.
Yeah. And for the major goal thing, I don't know, like, Trig's whole thing has been like not necessarily not wanting to be a civil engineer, but like not necessarily knowing if this is for her. And this whole thing of, okay, well, now you're going to be pharmacologists, go isolate a stimulant. This kind of falls maybe under Ship Laden with Glory.
Sure.
Like, this is her way out of it.
Sure. So that is 6 on stale life. I'll take it. All right. And I'll update the other ones later. So, yeah, all right. Why don't we end this and then do quick talking, and then we'll do a second chapter. How about that?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right. So, I was Devin.
Peter.
Stephanie.
Natalie.
And this is sponsored by Nobody. Signing off.